Welcome back to Business Casual with me, Nabil Sultani. Before I let my guest introduce himself, I'm going to share with you our numbers. So if you have any questions, please feel free to call us on 012-6484-691 or 012-6474-100. Now I leave the mic all up to you, Mr. Bruno Franca.
Hi everybody. Thank you for Nabil for having me here, and I come in representing Boundless. My name is Bruno Franca, from Portugal. Been here for the last 7 years. I think we've met maybe a year after my arrival.
Yeah, probably.
As soon as I went work for Arena. And I'm here today to discuss health, wellness, what Boundless is, where we're going.
Exactly. So tell us first a bit about your background and how you got into this field. And tell us what this field is.
Okay. So funny enough, my background is in physiotherapy, the first level of it. However, it wasn't something that I dreamt as a kid. As a kid, I wanted to be involved with sports. All my family would tell you that, he wants to be a PE teacher since young kid. But the truth of the matter was that I arrived to the 12th grade and it's time to choose, and I was confused. I guess like many other kids at 18. So I was so nervous to commit into a long-term decision. So I ended up doing tests, psychotechnical tests, psychometric tests. You can go here, there. I was even more confused, to be honest. So I stayed another year. We call it the 13th, which you pick 2 or 3 subjects and
Or you backpack across Europe.
Yeah, also. But my mom wasn't giving me that slack. So, funny enough, my best friend was as confused as me. His father, which is like a godfather to me, he's like, guys, after the 13th, he's like, guys, so what's the decision? We were like looking at each other, didn't know what to say. And he said, how about physiotherapy? We were like, what? We've never had the need to use it. So the idea of, and then he was like, in the future, people will need it, this and that. And we both couldn't comprehend what was coming.
A man with a vision.
Yeah, perhaps. So we were like, okay, we both go together. So worst case scenario, we deal with this together, we go through it. And so I did. I studied 4 years in a university. I will mention the name. Maybe I can share this with them. It's called ISAV. It's in the north of Portugal, in Porto, Braga. And from there, it's almost like a love that is not forced, but exercised. I'm not sure if this is the right word, but it was a passion that started to
grow on you,
to grow on both of us, me and my bestie Lewis. Shout out to him. So after I finished 4 years, I was like, okay, so I could go to pediatric, because physiotherapy branches out quite extensively in cardiovascular, respiratory, pediatrics, neurology, orthopedics, so I wanted sports, and I got my dream job out of university. So I went to work for a football club called Sporting Lisbon. It was at that time, and still is, a reference in terms of youth academy and excellence in terms of rehabilitation and training. So the pay was horrible. They would pay you 200 euros under, let's say, 800 riyals a month, and you would have to go 5 times a week, usually from 6 till about 10 p.m.
Transportation will cost you more than that.
Yeah. So my mom was like, hey, it's time for you to move on with your life and start paying your expenses and all of that. I was like, how? So, but I guess they do this on purpose. Like, you get to work with us, you get the know-how, you get the experience, and
the exposure,
and we pay you nothing. But I guess that was the door into what led to reach where I am now. After a year, the season we won. I was with the football team. under 19s. After the season, I was invited to go to the national team. We went to a World Cup for universities that happens every year. This was July 13. September, I was here.
All right, that was a quick transition. Amazing. So now,
it was
in September of what year?
This is 2013.
Yeah. 2014. You were in Saudi, and this is where you started your journey in Saudi, and where you ended up opening Boundless.
Yes.
So we're going to take a short break, and then we want to share with our listeners, what is Boundless, why it came about, how it's different from what people might think it is. So we'll be back after this song. Welcome back to Business Casual with me, Nabil Sultani, and my guest, Mr. Bruno Franca. You know, amazing background. Thank you very much for sharing this, because people don't see how, whatever happens in your life, good or bad, usually leads you to what you really are here on this earth for. So now that you're in Saudi, you've landed in Saudi in September 2013 or 14. Where are you today, and how did you come up with Boundless? What is Boundless? What was the stepping stone to make that decision and go out on your own?
Okay. First, I think it's fair to give two shout-outs that precede Boundless. One is the clinic I came work for, which I worked for a year. It's now closed. It used to be called Europe Center. And then a very important step in my personal development and career, which is Arena, which I stayed for 4 years.
Doing what?
I was head of performance and physical therapy, and in the last 2 years, we basically started what corporate wellness is here
Program.
in Saudi, and employee well-being programs.
What is corporate wellness and well-being program? Just so that our listeners could understand a little more.
Okay, so when you are in a corporation, there are a few key markers that you're looking: productivity, efficiency, absenteeism, happiness, motivation in your workforce, because ultimately whatever the business that you are is your workforce. Well, the value is created by your workforce. Even though you might be selling a service or a product, it doesn't really matter. You still have this human interaction and interfacing that needs to be taken care of. And so when we started it back in 2015-16, it's still hard to come to a company today and talk about these things, because you don't have when you talk with decision makers, they want to see ROIs, and you're talking about a VOI, which is a value of your investment rather than the return of it. So that came along. It was a nice 4 years there. From there, December 2 years ago, just before Corona said hello to the world, our paths finished, and I had the luck to meet someone. His name is Dr. Mohammed Baghdadi. He was a person, and he is a person who saw where I wanted to go, and from there we started drafting the vision for Boundless. So Boundless, I love the naming because it means what it feels like. We as humans, we lose more due to the boundaries that we self-inflict to each other than we think. And I think when you think of yourself as being boundless, having no boundaries, then you accept to improve or to change something that you think of yourself that needs to be changed, and to improve other components of your life. Might be on the mindset, on the nutrition, the movement, recovery, your work, your interpersonal relationship with your husband, wife, kids. So the state of being boundless is being ready to unlearn, relearn, learn, unlearn, and relearn. These three words is what supports Boundless. We need to learn, right? Mm-hmm. But it's important the next two, which is unlearn and relearn. These two, I think it's what also characterizes Boundless. But what did we do? So Boundless started to cater and service the community, and to service it under the health and wellness aspect or umbrella, but in a integrative and a holistic manner, which not only lacks here, but in any you go to the most advanced countries in Europe and in America, for example, and when you talk about integrative therapies or medicine and holistic, it's still a little bit looked and snubbed. But it's changing, and it's changing because we're understanding that we are more the inclusion and the interaction of many systems than just one system alone.
And it's changing because of the education, and how also I'm sure social media plays a part in creating that awareness amongst all the viewers.
Big time, big time. And so we started with these three main. So we have some divisions under Boundless. So rehabilitation or recovery, performance, wellness. We have a sports academy. We work with education with our workshops under these 4 pillars: mindset, nutrition, movement, recovery. We have a retail division too. And technology, which maybe on a next visit here I'll be able to disclose what we're doing in that regard.
Definitely. We're going to take another short break, and when we come back from the break, let's discuss each of the services that are there and why they're there. So we're going to take a musical break, and we'll be back after this.
See you soon.
SRFM, your one-stop entertainment.
Please don't stop the music. Do you ever feel?
I feel good. I knew that I would not, because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof.
Got to love you, got to love you, yeah, got to love you, got to love you.
You make me this, bring me up, bring me down, play sweet, make me move. Please don't stop the music.
So get in the car, you can ride it wherever you want. Get inside it, you wanna steer. I'm shifting gears.
SRFM, the heart of KSA.
Welcome back to Business Casual with me, Nabi Sultani, and my guest, Mr. Bruno Franca. So before the break, we were talking about all of the services. Now let's dig into each of them and how, you differentiate yourself from the market and your vision on really, creating a healthy society, which is the 2030 vision.
Yes.
So
first, and also because this is business related, when we were in the beginning, the early stages, the first challenge is really going through and getting all the licensing and permits that any business needs to get before you interface with the customers, which was nowadays was actually much faster than 2 years ago. I think Saudi is really pushing to become more digital. The digital transformation, even in this part, getting licenses from Ministry of Sports, it took us like 2 days to approve our sports academy in a school, our location.
I think we need to give props to the government because I think they're ranked 2 globally in terms of digital transformation for all government sectors and more. So
that's crazy because 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it's really like a huge transformation. So a big shout out to the people behind the scenes that most of the times they don't get recognition. So moving into the services. Okay, so. As again, I'll name them. So rehabilitation, performance, wellness, sports academy, our education, retail, and technology. This sounds weird. Every time I speak with someone in business, they say, Bruno, you're putting so much energy everywhere, you're going to lose the focus. And initially, when I was reading a lot of marketing books and whatnot, I've learned that you should go 1 inch wide, 1 mile deep, and then move into the next inch, which it makes sense. And then I heard from people like, oh, you're trying to be a master of all trades. And you know what they say, a master of all trades, jack of all trades, master of none. What I didn't know, and I just learned 3 weeks ago, is that the whole quote is jack of all trades, master of none, most of the times better than a master of one. This second part is highly important, and this was like hidden from the whole world because, right? Is it just me?
No,
I
true.
felt like, was I the last one learning about this? And this is going in line with a book that I strongly recommend. It's called The Almanac of Naval Ravikant, where he describes something as specific knowledge. Specific knowledge is having knowledge. Say, for example, we're talking about health and wellness. Having specific knowledge is not just being good at rehabilitation, but understanding that you cannot be good at rehabilitation without being good in mindset, in how the psyche works, because you're dealing with pain. If you understand the pain model, pain is a biopsychosocial model. So you have a biological fabric, say a tendon that is damaged per se, that there is an electric information to your brain that says, hey, something is wrong at the shoulder. Your brain then, your psyche, based on your experiences, and here I'll open a parenthesis. I always use this example. A kid that comes from Carantine and a kid that comes from Shati, both are twins. They are separated at birth. They both grow in different environments. Both have the same injury. Both will manifest the injury, express the injury differently because of the psychosocial environment. So when I understood this at early stages, I was like, oh my God, I didn't learn this in university. So how am I gonna help people get better at their pain? Pain is twice as more in the brain than it is in the body. So biological is in the body, right? Psychological and sociological happens in the brain and outside the brain. I have no experience in that. I have no education in that. So that started my level of education in behavior therapist and cognitive therapy. So this to connect with the rehabilitation.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to stop a little bit here because I think my profession is underrated because I think it's harder than we are perceived, I would say. Because look at this. You come to me, as it happened before, right? There's a pain. We are taught that we need to look just to the body. But in fact, I need to look into your brain, right? So now you need to be a psychologist almost, right? You need to be a mechanic because you need to fix the body parts. But then you need to understand that also this individual needs to eat, and whatever he eats will also amplify or not whatever he feels. If you eat fast food, crappy food, you're gonna exacerbate more your pain than a person who eats clean. So now we were like, oh my God, now I need to learn about nutrition. Hence I started the precision nutrition and to add more knowledge into that. Then you add the last layer, which is recovery. Sleep, for example, a person who sleeps less than 7 hours will express pain 150 up to 150% more than a person who sleeps more than 8. So now I was like, okay, so now I need to learn about sleep too. So when we understand that we are the integration of all of these things, this over-specialization becomes meaningless to a point. And so that's why we're different than everybody, because we understand the body as one whole system. An example: sometimes people come to me and they show their X-rays. They're ready to show the X-rays before they speak about their bodies. And we say, I don't want to see none of that first. We want to hear you, and I want to understand you. Who are you? How's your belief system? What's your belief system? How's your perception towards what you have? Why do you think you have that? Because the system is set in a way that, okay, you come, I don't cross the table, I sent you to do exams. Whatever is written in the exam is what I'm going to tell you. So how am I going to help you? How am I helping you? Identifying the why.
This is extremely important, because especially for a lot of people who go through injury, they think that, the easy way out is the best way out, and they don't know that it's usually a very long process. So I think this is where you educate as well your clients when they come in.
Yeah.
So
the difference is so someone says, oh, I have back pain, Bruno, I need your help, or Boundless. Quick, because we're living in this Instagram, everything, quick. And you need to stop the person, make the person take a breath, hold on. We don't engage in, if it's a medium severity case, we won't take less than 12 weeks usually. And 12 weeks because it takes about that to build new real estate in your brain, to change how you think, how you feel, and new habits also. And there's a reason why 8 in 10 people have lower back pain or will have lower back pain. It's quite big. And people have it, and usually they don't get to feel 100% because it's multifactorial. It's not just strengthen your core, strengthen your glutes. Otherwise, you would see bodybuilders, they have a lot of muscle in their glutes and in their abs, and they still have back pain. So
a lot of back pain,
right? And not only bodybuilders. I was just giving the extreme that it's not just building, because we see a lot on Instagram. Oh, lower back pain, stretch here, strengthen here. More importantly is understand the why. I have a current case, 2 cases, both have disc herniations, right? In the same level, the same size. They're friends. One is stiff as a board. The other one is very flexible. Both of them have the same diagnosis by the same doctor, but both have a why that is distinct. And it's by defining very well the why that you can understand the how and the what and
the process for recovery, for rehabilitation. That's amazing. So just for our listeners to know, here Boundless is a completely different way of looking at things. It doesn't take only one criteria of an injury or a performance requirement. It takes the whole comprehensive data of the individual, from not only what you see on paper, but also from the personal experience that they actually feel. That's honestly amazing, because you did this when I got injured, so this really helped because you also educate the clients. So we're going to take a short break, and when we're back, we're going to continue with Bruno Franca and